name's Teresa Boyle. I work for Cardiff Council in the housing development team. As a client, obviously understand the benefits of BIM from a cost and collaboration perspective. One of the biggest barriers I've had to try and persuade the authority to use BIM on my projects has been from the FM point of view and getting them to change their way of working, but also from an IT system perspective. We have a lot of issues with our IT systems using cloud and things. Have you got examples of where local authorities have succeeded in using BIM?
You're not alone. I prefer not to say the housing association that I'm referring to, but the lady that sits on my group said exactly the same thing, that in fact her FM people are quite happy to go around with notepads and pens and don't want to even consider the BIM model. So you're not alone. What I would say is there's another housing association, and again I'd prefer not to say who they are, but they invited me in. I'm doing a half-day workshop with them. They've acknowledged that there is this problem internally. They want to build 1,000 units a year for the next 5 years. They want to use BIM and they want to use timber frame. So with my timber frame hat on and my BIM hat on, they've invited me in. And what they're prepared to do is open up and look at the culture of the organisation. And I think it would probably take that honesty for your organisation to really get the benefits out of BIM. Now, what we could do, where are you, Cardiff?
Yeah, Cardiff.
I mean, the organisation that is motoring ahead is the one I mentioned, Nottingham City Homes. I'm quite prepared to put you in touch with Richard Whittaker, who would give you a very honest and upfront and direct answer to that, and if that would be any help.
I think it would be useful. I mean, for us, it's one of those things that you talked about leadership earlier. For a council to have examples of where things have worked for other similar organisations, that's always obviously a benefit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy. If you let me have your details, or can the BRE let me have details, which I can communicate? Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else want to ask a question? Yes. Bill?
Bill Dunster, Z Factory. Question for Stewart Milne. How much do they cost? Pounds per square metre. What's your fabric first?
Well, it's a simple answer, Bill. It's the current build cost for each one of the 3 developers, with an additional $2.98 a square foot.
That's not an answer.
Well, that's commercially sensitive data to me.
Come on,
but I'll tell you the on cost.
This is industry room.
And if you've got a cost base that's comparable with Barrett's or Crest or Stewart Milne, then you'll know your costs. But the uplifting cost over your current standard build cost for a typical 3-bed, 4-bed property
come on,
is round about the £3 a square foot.
Yeah, I got that. That's brilliant and very, very commendable. Nevertheless, could we know roughly what your costs are?
For you, Bill, no.
Okay. Hopefully Stuart will stay in the audience bit and ask some questions of you later. Yes, a question.
Hi, Christian Jalki from EBB again. This is for Paul. You used the E4 house as an example how the put it all together, the BIM structure and all the work you've done. When it was launched in June or so at Innovation Park, I went there and I had a look at the brochure, the planning before, and was very impressed. Wet plastering, clay walls, and so on and so on. When I got there, I realized it was built quite differently. So to this exam, plan well. So that was not quite a confirmation of the aspect you tried to point out. So. On that specific project, do you know how that developed?
What do you mean exactly in terms of it was not...
the internal lining, for example, was you had solid brick, so you had lots of thermal mass, and the idea was to do wet plastering. It would have given you the airtight layer. Instead of you did plasterboard, I think you call it dip and top.
What we did on there, on the
Sorry?
What we did on there is literally on the inner skin, we patch coated it to test the airtightness of a patch coat, which is a very simple brush on rather than wet plaster. So we were trying to, as part of the project, use, I don't want to say very unskillful labor, but used some sort of apprentices as well to find out and to make the detailing as easy as possible and to make the construction process as easy as possible. So it was literally made up, and even in the initial concept, there is a dot and dab in there mentioned. But the reason we did it at BRE was literally to test our patch code in terms of airtightness.
Okay. So if you use the BIM for modeling as well, because obviously that means quite a lot of loss of thermal mass, which you had, and then you separated and you air gap.
No, you're not. No. Why would you lose any mass?
You put in there's an air gap, 30-40 millimeter between.
Yeah, but it's internal, isn't it? The building is wrapped up with airtightness layer at the ground floor and the loft, and then wrapped up in the patch code. So it's wrapped up, isn't it? So
no, that's fine, but that's nothing to do with thermal mass. So the loss of thermal. I talk to you after this. Sorry.
Do you mind if we take that offline? Because I think it might get quite detailed. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Stuart's got one more slide he forgot to show you.
Yeah, just on the MC4 project, there are 7 information papers. So there is commercial one, technical one. There's a whole piece on the supply chain and the sandpit. So if you need any access to information, just hit the website there, www.mc4.com, and you can download them free of charge.
Is there one for cost for Bill?
Yeah, but there's no base cost, Bill. But you can look at the uplift cost. I'll tell you what, can you tell me the cost of your house?
You took public money that funded that programme.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it costs you to build?
No, I took Stewart Milne's money. We put in 17 houses. It cost £500,000 each. So we put in £8 million of risk into that project. And we've yielded something like a transformational change in thinking towards fabric solutions as a consequence of that. Happy to tell you the uplifting cost, but not my own cost. I would like to know your cost for your zero carbon houses, etc., etc. And if you want to share sensitive data, then fine, but we don't.
I think on that note, it's probably a good time to have a tea break. Ladies and gents, thank you for your attention.